Meryl Streep, Hollywood virtue signaling, and the media shift to come. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and man, oh man, did you see the anti-Trump Meryl Streep speech from the Golden Globe Awards last night? Wow! I don't have a tinfoil hat avatar right now, but I'm going to remind people that I have a very long theater background, and also that I watched an entire body language breakdown of the speech on this YouTube channel that I will link in the description. It's called Bombard's Body Language. It's quite good. This woman who does it is pretty smart. Anyhow, after careful analyzation, the expert from the channel came to the conclusion basically that Meryl Streep was beyond nervous giving that speech, to the point where it seemed to terrify her. And perhaps with good reason. There might just be a major media collapse in every realm of entertainment, possibly unlike anything we've ever seen in American history. You see, I don't have a whole lot of super professional experience in entertainment, even though I have a very long history of doing both theater and music. And there's a very specific reason for that. I have always been fringy because I have always been a rebel. So I did lots of underground stuff that was basically just spread word of mouth. I want to say you wouldn't have heard of me, but I'm anonymous anyway, so I can't say it. I ended up this way because I realized at a very young age that in order to succeed in entertainment, it was only semi-important that you were actually good at what you did, and far more important that you were telling the audience what the people in charge wanted them to hear. So I was kind of like, fuck that, I'm gonna do shows in warehouses, and I did that. Also, over the past few years in entertainment, it became imperative that anybody getting any actual attention in entertainment must be anybody besides a white male. The only thing white men were allowed to do were to be workhorses for women, generally, preferably women who were also racial minorities, as we do 90% or more of the hard work so that somebody could fawn over somebody else. Granted, shirtless Ryan Reynolds will always sell tickets, but you know what I mean. There's always some producer behind every MIA or Beyonce even. It's not like she makes all that music by herself. Regardless, if you take art seriously and you want it to be your career like I have done most of my adult life, you realize that there will always be divas who will spend all their time networking and talking themselves up to strangers, relying on those with true talent to make it all happen for them behind the scenes. If you're smart, you learn how to use these people to your advantage for networking the way that they use you for technical work. But it should be of note that over the past 4 years especially, most of these divas ended up being queer, female, racial minorities in many big cities at least. And the ones I'm thinking of, minus a few who were really talented, some of these people were the most arrogant, entitled, and damaged people I have ever met in my life. But now their jig is up. And ain't no white boy gonna produce their music no more, okay? Sorry, I used to hang out with drag queens. I'm sure that was really cringy. And it got old. Black gay men dressing up like women was awesome for the Oppression Olympics, but that will no longer be politically correct during the Trump administration. So unless you have legit talent outside of putting on makeup and being boisterous, it's game over. What I'm trying to hint at here is that, like news media, the entertainment industry itself has its own set of rules and political demands that they will shamelessly use to push an agenda. People on the cast of Walking Dead were trying to draw people's attention to parallels between Trump and Negan, while Orange is the New Black Season 4 became like one long Huffington Post article about how black women's lives matter. People called Star Wars Episode 7 Social Justice Wars, and how many goddamn celebrities came out with anti-Trump commercials over the past year. Very often, if you don't play this virtue signaling game, then you have no future in entertainment, and the Democratic Party has been vastly more successful in terms of entrenching their politics into the industry, which everybody knows. But here's the thing. I want you to watch that Meryl Streep speech again, and look at how scared she seems, especially at the end, where she just wants to get off stage as quick as possible, and she gets lost. Why do you think Meryl Streep was so scared? Why did she mock Americans for watching MMA? Is she really just scared because Trump is a mean man? Because he said mean things? Because he's a mean If she's legitimately scared because of all that, well, she's one of the best living actresses alive, and she certainly didn't convince me that that is what she's scared of. What I think she's scared of is the fact that somebody who knows the entertainment business reasonably well is coming into power. And from the looks of it, he's gonna clean house. Judging by his recent meeting with the staff at CNN, where he basically told them that they can all go fuck themselves, I have a distinct feeling that he's just getting started. You see, political administrations drastically change entertainment, and I'm old enough to remember this very well as I was just 18 and living in New York City when George W. Bush was elected. I studied writing, theater, and various media literacy type subjects during my 4 years at university, so I was able to very carefully track the cultural shift coming out of the late 90s. It was a great time to be in school for what I was doing in New York City. So in case you didn't notice, 2016 was the year where it became more apparent than ever that Hollywood was not a whole lot more than an emperor wearing no clothing. Sure, there's the occasional big budget gem like Game of Thrones or the first Avengers movie, and I'm stoked to see Ghost in the Shell, even if it ends up not being so great. Still, if you're watching this channel, I can assume you're one of the many people that has decided to mostly ditch mainstream media in favor of free, obscure channels on YouTube like my own. And I can't blame you. That's mostly what I did even before I created my channel. What I really wonder is what is going to happen in entertainment. Will there be a gigantic industry crash? I wouldn't find it unlikely considering we know movies and music aren't really making much money usually, and celebrities like Katy Perry, who once said she wasn't a feminist, ended up taking like $80,000 from Hillary Clinton to endorse her. And let's not even discuss the Ghostbusters movie. If things in entertainment are so tied to politics, as they obviously are, to the point where the politicians are feeding entertainers relative scraps to keep them in business, well, what happens when a politician enters office who knows the entertainment game after having a very successful reality show and he decides to stop throwing the leftist media his table scraps? What then, motherfuckers? I have no idea, but I can't wait to find out. And hey, once again, I have a full-length fictional screenplay inspired by a certain fourth-wave intersectional feminist social justice video game and pop culture critic that I desperately want to get made in 2017, hopefully. It would be amazingly easy to crowdfund, and we could probably shoot it in like a month or less because it's super simple. Only has a few characters. Trust me. You should... So if you know how to get a movie made, send me a private message by first clicking the About section for my channel. I can't say I'm the best actor or commentator, really, but that's not really what I do. I can confidently say that I'm a pretty solid scriptwriter, as I've been doing it a long time, and that's actually what I majored in college. That's all for today. Drop me a comment and stay tuned.